good morning, or good afternoon, my most amazing artists. Happy Art Day. So we're going to learn how to draw ourselves as our own monster characters today. One of the last cycles when you saw me, I introduced you to my monster character that I created, which was the awesome idea of one of my third graders in Mrs. Wilcox's class. She said that since I have so many other monsters in my classroom, that I should draw myself as a monster to add along with the rest of them. When we were having that conversation, I had students in several classes who said to me that it would be really cool if I could draw every student as a monster as well. However, I have over 500 students. That would take me a really long time to draw monsters for every single student that I have. But we can talk today about how to do the same steps that I do when I'm creating a new character and to draw yourself as a monster character. I want you to pay attention to all the steps today and take your time and do a really good job with this project. So let's check out what we're going to do. We're going to look at all the steps first and show you step by step how we might do the project. That way, when it's your turn, you'll have an idea about how you might want to start. So the very first step that you're going to do is you're going to decide on a shape that you're going to use for your monster's body. Now keep in mind that this shape is going to be the whole body, not just the head of your character. And as we look through the steps, you'll be able to see what I mean by that. And that's why I'm showing you everything first before you get started. For step 2, we're going to draw a line about halfway across your monster character. And I'm not going to do all of these, but I drew a bunch of shapes so that you can see how each one looks a little bit different and what it will look like when we split each one in half. So I just have a really light line drawn there to show me where I'm splitting my character apart. The top half is going to be my character's head. The bottom half is going to be the rest of his body. And we'll see more what that looks like when we do the rest in a little bit. You're going to decide how many eyes you want your monster to have. Maybe your monster has 1, maybe it has 2, maybe it has 3. I don't have any monsters in my classroom that have 3, but that would be pretty cool. You might be able to see better than you do right now. So decide how many eyes you want. Decide if you want them right on top of the head, kind of like Bart is, where it's right up on top and crosses over the top part of your shape. Whether they are down a little bit onto the shape, kind of like on the rectangle here in this example, or if you want the eyes to be sticking up above the head, kind of like Pearl in my classroom. And you might have to add on some extra pieces like I have for my oval and my diamond here that are on the screen. For step 3, now we're going to add a mouth. You can see some examples of mouths up at the top. I picked one for each of my shapes and I added it. Now remember that the head is above the line. So I added my mouth for each character above that line that I drew. Okay, next you're going to decide if you want your monster to just have fur, and a lot of my monsters in my classroom do, or if you want to add on a hairstyle at the top. You can do that however you would like. So here are some examples of monsters that I had from the screen before, where I added a hairstyle on the top. Here are 3 different ones. Okay, so we have some longer hairstyles. We have a shorter one. That one on the end has a ponytail. So you can think about if you want to do something like that for your monster. Now on this screen, you can see 2 different kinds of monster drawings. The first picture, the rectangle, has a hairstyle that I drew on top. The second one, the one on the right, does not have a hairstyle. He just has fur. So you can decide which way you want to do yours. Next thing you're going to do for step 5 is you're going to add a neckline for whatever outfit you're going to be putting your monster into. So think about what kind of shirt or dress or whatever you're going to have your monster wear. Think about what you might have them wear, and you're going to draw a neckline for the top of their shirt to split apart where the head is and where the rest of that body is going to go. All right, next we're going to add some clothes to our character. So in this picture here, I just took those two that we had been working with. And for my monster that has the hairstyle, I gave him a t-shirt and some shorts, or they could be pants if I made them longer. And then for my other monster that doesn't have hair, he just has fur. He's kind of a funny shaped monster, but he looks pretty cool. I gave him a shirt that has a collar and some buttons up at the top, and he has a long sleeve shirt on. And again, those could be shorts or pants, and you can make them whatever length you want. Now over on the side, I drew some other examples of clothes that I could put my monsters in if I wanted to. I've got a tank top and a hoodie and a V-neck shirt. And I also drew a skirt down there. If you have a girl monster, you could draw a skirt or a dress for your monster instead of pants. And then for step 7, this is the last step that we need to do. We need to add on the last couple of details that we don't have yet. We need to give our monsters some arms, some legs, and some shoes at the bottom. Now I drew some examples of shoes over to the side that I have used with other monsters in the past that are in my classroom. If you want to make your shoes look a little different, that's totally fine. Yours does not have to look the same as mine or any of the examples that I've done. You can make yours look different. You can add on different details than what I have. I just drew you some examples so you have them to look at when you're making your choices. So when you're all finished is to erase any extra pencil lines that we have on the drawing that we do not need. On mine, you can see the light lines that I drew where the diamond shape was at the beginning. I have some extra lines that I don't need anymore. So I'm going to use my eraser to get rid of any extra lines that I don't need for my drawing. And Lauren's going to do the same thing. All right, once all those lines are erased, the next thing we need to do is we're going to color them in. Now, I know that no matter whether you are in kindergarten or 4th grade or 5th grade or anything in between, that you've had experience with coloring with crayons, even before you came to school. But what we want to make sure that we do with our crayons is to really take our time coloring the monster in. We're going to try to color in all the white spaces. We're going to stay inside the lines, and we're going to try to color all in one direction as much as we can. Because if we do that, if we color all in one direction, that really helps the drawing look neater and look really good. So let's check out what that looks like when I do the hair of my monster. And then you'll get a chance to try it with your own monster in a little bit. All right, so I'm staying inside the lines. Notice how I started coloring up and down. So I'm going to try to color all the hair in an up and down kind of direction. Now, sometimes you have to go in a little bit different direction when you're coloring in little details like the corners of her hair. But I'm going to color it all in. Notice how I'm still coloring it in all up and down. Sometimes if I'm coloring up against a line, I like to trace that line and then color it in, going up and down in one direction. All right, that's looking pretty good. So it's looking very neat. I colored in all the white spaces. And we're going to go ahead and color in all the rest.